Hello and welcome to episode 148 of the Mouse Makes Knitting podcast. My name is Mandy, sometimes known as Mouse, and today I've got a lot of new things cast on to show you and something that I've almost finished, and also we'll be drawing for the Christmas in July make along. So bear with me while I just boot up my laptop. I think there are 41 entries on Ravelry and 6 people who've entered by email. That's a bit better, isn't it? I've got the blind turned because the sun is coming this way when it's out and it's a bit much. So I'm going to get my friend whose name begins with A to pick winners for me. But my laptop went completely dead. I was on Zoom. It went completely dead. So I'm having to get into Ravelry in order to... I'm going to ask her to pick a number between so-and-so and so-and-so, and then I'll have to count down and see what I get. Oh, here we are. I'm doing this first. I know it's traditional to wait until the end, but you'll either watch the podcast or you won't, so I don't see the point in making everybody wait until the end. Let me just get it up. Entry thread. Okay, right, so there were 41 and 6. So I'm just going to mute myself while I call her name, and then I'm going to draw for the first prize. The first prize has very kindly been donated by Mandy of Vaughn Knits. There will be a link to her channel below, and she has bought for me to give away a Mousewitch Yarn's sock set advent. So the winner of this won't get it straight away. You won't get it till probably October, November time. And it will be 400 gram plus 20 gram contrast skeins for each of the Sundays leading up to Christmas. So let me pause while I say her name. Pick a number between 1 and 47.
Here's a number between 1 and 47. It's 32.
32. Okay, let us scroll through. Too far. 32. And the winner of the first prize is Laura 3031. I will put that on, let me write it down. I'll put that on the screen. 2 seconds, I've got to keep flipping back between pages now. Okay, so Laura, I'm assuming your name is Laura. If you could contact me at mousesmakes@gmail.com or on Ravelry. I am Mousewitch on Ravelry, and actually email's probably easier. That's probably safer. Do it by email. Mouses with the S in the middle makes@gmail.com. And I'll get your address so that we can get that sent out nearer Advent time. The second prize, which I've neglected to get out. I'm not very organised today, am I? I'm not very organised at all, in fact. Okay, the second set prize, come on brain, was also a donation some time ago, and I cannot remember who from. I think I know, but I don't want to say in case I'm wrong. So this is a sock set from Sherry Iris. It's called The Winter Gathering. It was from an advent from 2021. So I thought that was quite apt for a Christmas in July make-along prize. So this is for the second prize. This one you will get almost straight away. So let me mute myself again. Give me a number between 1 and 47.
Here's a number between 1 and 47. It's 13.
13. I think I've upset the dog next door. Bear with me, I'm scrolling. There's probably an easier way to do this. You can probably just jump to a comment, but I don't know how. 13. Vicky the Terror. Do I have your address? I think I might have. Nevertheless, email me at mousesmakes@gmail.com just to be sure, because I think I have it, but I don't want to send your prize to the wrong person. So I'll put that on the screen as well. Okay, and that's it. That's that done. So thank you so much to everyone who entered. There's been a lot of socks, a couple of blankets, more finished objects than I expected, because I did say you didn't need to finish to enter. So well done those of you who finished something. I did not finish. Did I finish something? Yes, I finished my shawl, but that wasn't something I'd cast on for the make along, so I'm not counting that. So yeah, well done, and thank you for entering. Sorry I couldn't give a prize to everybody, but that's how these things work. The Breezeway make along and the Yarn Show make along run until the end of this month, the 31st of August, and they will be for a pattern prize. So we'll see about that one later this month. Well, actually, probably we'll see about that one beginning of September. Let's be fair. Okay. Right. I have many things to show you. I had a cast on frenzy last week and I cast on 6 things. 6 things means that I went above my ceiling of 40 whips. It took me up to 41. And I did say that I had something that was almost finished, and it is still almost finished. But I've had a couple of days where I didn't knit at all. I have issues with my back, with my spine, and nerve issues thanks to that, and also to a very, very bad bout of shingles a few years ago. And I woke up one morning and my back was just locked up solid. And Dave kept saying, well, what have you done? What have you done? Because, of course, it must be my fault. I must have done something that I'm not supposed to do. And what I'd done was sleep for 7 hours solid without waking up to move. And that was it. My back is just very angry with me. So I spent a couple of days, I couldn't even bear to knit. I just sat very, very still. Sitting is the most painful thing I can do at the moment. So you can probably notice I'm like rocking about a bit, because it's quite painful to sit here, which is outside the norm, because normally when my back is bad, standing is excruciating, and at the moment standing's all right. Go figure. I don't know. So if I'm a little bit all over the place and I'm moving about and making people feel a bit seasick, this is a rocking chair. That's why I'm just sort of easing my back. Yes, so I'd hoped to have this finished today, but because of that I haven't. I've got couple more rows to go, and then start the ribbed hem. So this is my Twilight Skies set, knit up into a rocket tee. I've adapted the pattern slightly. Rather than the eyelets, I've done make one left, make one right increases for the raglan. Rather than put on an I-cord edging, I'm putting on ribbings. These I'm going to take down and redo on a smaller needle. The advent set actually ran out here with this darkest colour, and it wasn't quite long enough. I knew it wouldn't be, because I was getting around 2 inches out of each. If you're making a smaller size than I have, or you don't want it as long, you would get the whole thing out of the 12 minis, but I needed another few inches, and so I've dyed up this skein. It's just unfortunately, and the light's just changed, it's unfortunately a bit paler than the last skein of the set, but I don't think it matters hugely. So I can't remember how much further I've got to go. I think I'm just about there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I'm ready to start the rib. So I've just got the rib to do on the bottom, redo the ribbings on the sleeve in a smaller needle, and then I'm going to pick up around the neck. And again, rather than do an I-cord, I'm going to put a ribbed edging on it. So this is my almost finished thing, which will, I'm going to put it out there and say this will be finished by next week. I want it for the yarn show, for the Southern Wool show, beginning of September. So that's been a goal, to get it finished. And until it went back onto the shelf of shame and into rotation, it was knitting up really quickly, because you just want to, you finish this colour and you want to get on to the next one. So that's kept me going quite well with that. But anyway, at this present moment in time, I do still have 41 whips, but hopefully that will be different in a week's time. So shall we talk about what I've cast on? This one has been giving me, well, let me show you. This is the Traveller Shell by Andrea Mowry. Have I got a picture of it? I don't think I have. Let me do technology. Hang on. This is going to be a very tech heavy episode today, because I don't think I printed out the pattern for this. I think I've just got it on Knit Companion. I'm a new convert to Knit Companion. I've resisted it for a very long time, and then I got this new cheap tablet on Amazon on their Prime days back in July, and my old tablet, which is like more than 10 years old probably, couldn't support Knit Companion, so I didn't even try. But this one can and does, and I've been using it quite a lot. Okay. No, where are you? Projects. Sorry, this is very boring to watch, I'm sure. Okay, so this is the Traveller Shell. Essentially, it's a slightly oversized, boxy, short-sleeved, not very long cardigan. Is probably how I would describe it. I'm using, you're supposed to hold a lace weight and a lace weight together to give you fingering. Well, I'm using this, which is James C. Brett in SH53, which is a pale light grey, as you can see, and it's a single colour. A lot of this yarn is multicoloured. This one, there's a black, a pink, a blue, a red, and a beige, I want to say. And this one, there may not be a beige, I might be imagining that. They have started doing some plain colours, so I'm using this with 2.75mm needles, and that's where I am struggling, because it's a million stitches to go round my large self. And on 2.75mm needles, well, you can see the size of the stitches, one by one rib. This has taken me forever, and I think I've still got 7 rows to go. I need 2 inches, and I've got 1.5 inches maybe. Losing the will to live. So what I'm trying to do is at least 2 rows every day, more if I can manage it. I got quite a few rows done this morning on Zoom, because, you know, chatting with my friends, I wasn't paying much attention to what my hands were doing. But I'm not sure this is going to be big enough. But I'm going with the flow. I'm not on the proper needles for measuring the gauge yet, so if it comes out smaller than I intended, I'm just going to wear it, because I am not pulling this down. It has taken me 550,000 years to knit this much of the rib. I'm not pulling it down. That's the Traveller Shell by Andrea Mowry. You can probably see this pile of yarns behind me. With that, I'm making, I managed not to say knitting because it's crochet, a Granny Go Round by Iron Lamb, but my intention is to make it into a tee rather than a sweater. And I'm using 7 different yarns. Most of them are my own. One of them, and I'm doing 1 row of each. So this one here, row 3, that is by Amanda of Little Lycac. And, oh, it's back in the bag. It's the main skein from her Nutcracker Advent in 2022. The others are all mine. Some of them named, some of them unnamed. One of them is from my Advent last year. And as I say, I'm changing colours every row, which means there are a billion ends to sew in, because I'm also holding fingering doubled. So yes, I have a very interesting fringe going on. I've got 2 more rounds to do, 1 of each colour, to finish my second repeat through the colours. So what I'm planning to do is, after every 2 repeats through the colours, sew in the previous ends. But yeah, I'm rather regretting that I didn't do one colour till it was finished and then move on to the next and so on. But this is how I imagined it, and I'm sure I will love it when it's finished. They are all really gorgeous colours. They're all different, but they blend quite nicely until you get to the orangey one, which I think might be Peach Parfait. Not Peach Parfait, Peach Melba. Not 100% sure. As I say, they've all come out of stash. I don't label my own yarns that I put in stash, which I'm realising is foolish, because now I don't know what they are when I get them out. Some of them I recognise, but others, I mean, there's so many pinks in there. I think the one before the orange row is the one from my Advent last year. So that one, if you can see it, I think, but I wouldn't swear to it. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying working on it. It's a little bit stressful because I am a baby crocheter, but it seems to be coming out okay and that it's going to fit. So it's a bit hard to tell so far because I've not even got down to the armhole. But judging by how many rows I've got to go before I split for the sleeves, I'm pretty sure it's going to fit. So fingers crossed for that one. What else did I cast on? This. Now this started off life as something else. This began as a poncho. Oh, you may remember it. And it was a very cocoon-like poncho. And the more I looked at it, the more I thought I wasn't going to be able to wear it because it would give me claustrophobia. So I pulled it down. I had like the collar, a tiny amount. And I'm now making this. The yarn is Serdar Jewel Spun, and I'm using a Serdar Jewel Spun pattern, an Aran pattern. It is 10727, which I think is called the Moon and Stars cardigan. It's made in pieces and then seamed together, which seemed like it would be okay. I've been knitting for many years, over half a century, but I've only been crocheting for probably 10, 11, 12 years at most, and I've never made garments. I've made a few blankets. Tell a lie, I've made a couple of baby cardigans, baby coats that are puff stitch, and again, really the tension, the gauge didn't matter because they were so tiny. But this is I've only made the one garment before for myself a few weeks ago, and it was a tabard. So essentially, two big squares that you join together. Not really terribly challenging. So these two things are probably the most challenging crochet projects that I've made so far. So this is the back. It looks enormous, but I was going to say it's coming out the right size. It's not coming out the right size. It's coming out the size that I need, but for some reason I marked the pattern for a size smaller. I appear to be quite a loose crocheter, so it's coming out a size larger than I expected it to, but that's the size that I need it to be. Did you follow that? Yeah. So I'm rolling with it basically. It is quite huge. It will not fit in the screen, but that's because it's got to go around my quite huge hips that also will not fit in the screen. I know you think I'm exaggerating. I am not exaggerating. It is, as I said, Serdar Jewel Spun, and the colour is Evening Jade. And I like it very much. It will go with many things. I must complete it because it will go with many things. I'm using a 5mm hook, which is what they said to use in the pattern. And I messaged my friends at the weekend, most of whom are far better crocheters than I am, and said, look, it's coming out too big. Should I go down a hook size, alter the pattern slightly, make a smaller size? And got lots of conflicting advice. But in the end, I decided I'm just going to go with it because it's actually coming out the size I need. So I'll bear that in mind for future projects. I think the fact that I've been crocheting all those squares for my blanket, it's like giving me a more consistent gauge, because that I didn't have before, not having done an awful lot of crochet in my life. So that has been helpful. I am dithering about now as to whether I want to make a blanket out of it or like a long cardigan. I could do that. It might require some mental arithmetic and much drawing things out on pieces of paper, but it's an option. Bear that in mind come December, January time, when I'm cursing the fact that I decided to do that. Which are you? You are the crochet things. I'm back to the granny go around now. I've got them all in plastic bags and numbered so that I don't get them out of order. This is the one that I think was from my advent last year. And this is the one that was from Amanda's the year before. And I know that because on her label she has put 2022, which was very useful of her. Thank you for that, Amanda. Okay, what else? We're 3 projects in. We're halfway through. Okay, this one I need to find this on here. This is called the Summer Sorbet Tea. Oh. I don't know that you're going to be able to see that. Hang on. Can I make that bigger? No. Technology and I are not friends. Oh no, I didn't want it to do that. I've accidentally downloaded the PDF again. I didn't want to do that. Right, hang on. It won't make it bigger. Right, this is very difficult. This is the Summer Sorbet Tea. It's basically a round-necked, short-sleeved, very plain tea. And I'm using another one of my Skies and Vibes. And this one was very unpopular. I'm taking it out of the shop because I've got some others that I want to put in. This one is Tropical Vibes. And I've done a vast amount, as you can see. I'm part way through the short rows. Very bad place to stop. But these are the rest of the colours. Ooh. And I'm working from the red down through the yellow. And in between will be some of this. And this is Yarnsmith's Merino Sock. And I've forgotten the colour. Is it heathered grey possibly? It's 2K004 and it's something grey. Might be charcoal. I can't remember. But it's dark grey. So it goes with the red and with the yellow. And I'm just going to break them up a little bit with that. And then use that for ribbons, neck, sleeves, hem. So, yes. Not a lot of progress on that at all, really. Did I say that was the Tropical Vibes colourway? I don't remember if I did or not, but it is. So that's that one. What I'm planning to do is, I should tell you, I have not touched. Or after I recorded last week, I did not touch any more of my Christmas in July projects. I just had enough of doing them, and I got the rocket tea out and I started on that until I had my cast on frenzy on the Thursday. So this week I should be getting my little pot out and picking projects from the shelf of shame, but I want to finish the rocket tea. It's so close. and I'm going to pick a project from my new cast-ons each day and work on it that day, so that when I put them away and they go into the rotation with everything else, pardon me, they've at least had a decent start to them, and not like that one, about 4 short rows in, which at the moment I remember what I'm doing. If I like pick it out again in 8 weeks time, I probably won't. Okay, we're getting close to the end now. This is another well, this is its third go actually, another recycled yarn if you like. It's jewel spun Aran again, Sirdar jewel spun Aran, and it started off life as blanket, and then it got pulled down and that was going to be a sweater. And then I thought, I don't really want another Aran sweater. I'd get more use out of a cardigan. So it's now going to be this cardigan, which is design number 10720. I will put links down below. These I will link to the Sirdar website because that's where I bought them, because you can buy them there as a PDF, which is what I've done, or you can buy the physical pattern and they'll post it out to you. And this, I keep getting it wrong. I keep calling it the Eventide. It's called the Evergreen cardigan. And I chose it because it's a slightly different construction to anything I've made before. And I'll show you that when I get to it. It's to do with the, well, what would be the button band, except I'm not putting buttons on it. So again, I've got a vast amount of this done. This was the last thing I cast on, and I saved it till last because I knew I'd be tired, and I'm trying to decide which is the right side and which is the wrong side. That's the right side, I think. Yeah. I've got this much, which is not very much, but there's quite a lot of it. Again, this is the back, and it's, as you will have seen, a big oversized boxy cardigan, but it's not very long, and I thought it would be great for overdresses. So yeah, this is having its third try at actually getting finished into something, and this one is, they're very awkward to handle because they're big rolly things. This one is shade 0855, which is Sunstone Amber, and it's got a little bit, it's had a bit of a hard life, unfortunately. It's been in one bag and then another, so it's got from these really lovely sort of corally pinks and oranges. I don't know that it will go with much that I possess, but I really like the colour, so if all else fails, I'll wear it with black and grey. But I do tend to, even in the summer, put a cardigan on in the evening because my arms get chilly. So cardigans seem to be, at the moment, cardigans and tees seem to be more sense for me to make, sorry that's rustly, than sweaters. Okay, and finally, last but not least, in this massive bag, I was going to tell you about the bags and I've forgotten, haven't I? I made this one. It was one of the first bags I ever made, and it's enormous, which is just as well because what it's got in, it's having to hold a lot. This is a rocket tee. I won't show you the pattern because you've already had a look at a rocket tee once today. And this one I'm making with that rainbow yarn that I showed you last week. So far, I've not done badly. I've got this much. I'm doing so many rows of colour and then 2 rows of black. And again, I'm going to use the black as ribbings. I've adapted this one again not to have the eyelets in. The eyelets are where I get into a pickle. So it's just much easier if I cut them out. It just makes it into a plain V-necked, short-sleeved, well, you can do whatever length sleeve you want really, V-necked top, so there's not much I can get into a mess with there. The yarns, the coloured yarns are my own. You saw them last week. The black is, again, Yarn Smith's Merino sock. It's so soft and lovely. And it's just black. 2K treble O. I can't remember what order I decided I was going in. Purple and pink, obviously. I think the next one is going to be orange. And then the yellow. And then, ooh, the green. It's going to fall on the floor. Don't fall on the floor. And then the blue. And then back to the purple again. And I'm just going to cycle through until it's the length I need. I'm not anticipating using anywhere near the whole of these colours because I have another Rocket Tea planned using the colours but with something else, which will probably be a project for next year. So that's where I've got to on the Rocket Tea. You may have noticed as we've gone through, I am putting, what are these called, stitch stoppers that match the projects because that just gave me pleasure. So I'm going to very quickly run through the bags because I forgot to do it. This one I made. There's a lot of creaky rustling noises. There's going to be an avalanche in a minute. This one is like a shopping tote bag. Came from Temu. Sorry. I feel like the knitting world is divided into you must buy from Temu and I can't believe you bought from Temu. This one I bought the Southern Wool Show last year. It is made by Sewing Bee by D. This one, Temu again. Might have been Shein. Some dodgy Chinese app site anyway. This beautiful bag made by my lovely friend Sarah, and she made two of these little progress keepers as well, and these little stitch markers, so they stay with the bag. And I haven't got stoppers on the needles as yet, but when I do put them on they will be these ones, because I do like things to all go together. I'll get them out now and put them in. And then the last two bags I'm using both came from Amazon, and they're the same, just different fabrics. And they're pretty good. They've got pockets inside. One big pocket on one side, one small, you know, like to put your needles in, sort of like pen pockets but a bit wider on one side, and on the other side two big pockets. There's a zippered pocket, and there's one of these jobbies for hanging stuff on, drawstring and handles. So they're pretty good, and they are large. You can get a lot in those. So I try and remember, and I forget every time because someone asked me would I go through all my project bags, and it's a bit of a mammoth task. So what I'm trying to remember to do, is go through them as I'm using them, tell you about them, which is probably not as satisfying, but the best I can do. Okay, I think that's everything I had to tell you. I will give you a quick Poppy update. She's not doing so good again. Her steroid injection, which has been lasting for 2 weeks, has only lasted for a week this time. So she's back to being very wobbly. She falls over a lot. She's just not very well at all, which is really disappointing after, well, you saw her last week. You know, she was jumping up on the windowsill, and now she's just falling over all the time. She can't seem to control her body the way she wants. Rather than walking her back legs, rather than one going in front of the other, they go round like this. If she shakes her head, she falls over. If she tries to stretch, she can't balance, she falls over. But she seems relatively happy in herself, as my mum would say. She's going in and out, up and down the garden, which is quite a feat, because there are quite a few concrete steps for her to go up and down. But she can only have the steroid injections every 3 weeks. So she's got 2 weeks to wait before she can have them again, if she has them again. So, yeah, the news on the Poppy front is not so good this week, I'm afraid. But, yeah, them's the breaks. Right, I think that really is everything I have got to tell you. Next week's episode may be a bit boring, because I'll just be showing you the same things again, but with hopefully more progress on them. So, yeah, look forward to that, why don't you? Right. Double check my notes. No, nothing else to tell you. Congratulations to the Christmas in July winners. Don't forget to email me. I will not contact you. If anybody contacts you, they are not me. So, yeah, don't answer anybody asking you for anything. I just need you to email me with your postal address. That's it. So if anybody wants any more information from you from that, it's not me. Yeah, I think that's everything. Okay, so I'm going to go clear up the mess that I've made, get a hot water bottle to put on my back, and probably another cup of coffee, because that's how I'm medicating myself these days. I can't take any anti-inflammatories, any fancy painkillers. All I'm allowed to take is paracetamol, which for nerve pain might as well be M&Ms, and in actual fact I'd rather eat the M&Ms, because at least I'd enjoy that. So yeah, it's a hot water bottle and moving about and drinking copious amounts of caffeine, which will probably make my kidneys angry with me. Now Ewan's caught me. No, he didn't hear, he's got his earbuds in. He doesn't know I'm having the naughty coffee. Right, I'm going to go before I incriminate myself further, and I will see you next week. Have a lovely week, everybody. Hope your weather is kind to you, and yeah, enjoy your making, whatever it may be. Bye, guys.